This is Mike, still at the University of Maryland. And if you're seeing this first, we're at the University of Maryland, and the following video will be on the ill-named Susan B. Anthony Fund's opposition to abortion funding in any plan associated with the Affordable Care Act, except of course plans sponsored through subsidies to employers. This is only subsidies to individuals who are poor, who need the individual benefit. So yeah, if you get the health exchange exclusion, whether you're a small business or a corporation, they're not talking about getting rid of that. So there's that. Now, this one's about Melania. So I'm sure Trump's going to hear this, or Melania's going to hear this. If not, share this with them. They're going to hate it. They're going to hate it. Here's the thing, and I'll put the actual identity in the site in the comments. According to, I think, the press aide or the personal aide to Melania Trump and her unauthorized biography of the former and current First Lady, she was the person behind the search for vice president. She's the one who hired Pence. And she hired Pence on the condition that Pence never remove her husband for mental illness or illness, incompetence, whatever. You know, she made him promise, and he kept that promise. Stupidly, you know, even though the country, it was obvious that for the benefit of the country that he should have been removed and Pence should have been president. In fact, Pence was president. I think that was part of the deal. Pence was de facto president for those 4 years. You know, so he had people that walled off Trump and, you know, made sure he didn't do anything really stupid. Although that only went for so long, you know, at the end it didn't stop Trump from doing something really stupid and not hanging Trump. Pence. There was never a question of Pence being hanged. He had ironclad Secret Service protection, who would have shot anybody who tried to hang Mike Pence, and they would have succeeded. They had Uzis. You know, they have the best stuff. So, yeah, that was never a possibility. That was a cover. That was a cover story, kind of like the Ukraine strategy. That was a cover story. The Biden strategy. That was a cover too for funding the Protect the House PAC, the Protect the House PAC, in exchange for stopping those javelins, which was the original goal, was to have the deputy OMB director or one of the political assistant directors stop that funding. It was only when somebody blew the whistle that this was happening to both the media and the IG, and that the DOD comptroller said, "Oh no, we're spending this money. We are sending this money to the manufacturer of javelins and having these missiles delivered to the Ukraine, or to Ukraine, not the Ukraine anymore. It's not Ukraine if it's Russia. It's Ukraine if it's the country. You know, in fact, the Donbass region could just be called. They could just call it the Ukraine. They eventually might. So if they want to do land for peace, they want to throw Putin a bone so he can survive, although he's not going to. Now there's Trump. So how is this all about Melania? Well, Melania was the power broker that gave us Mike Pence. And we now know she's also the back channel, rumor has it she's the back channel to Putin. She's a good Soviet woman. This is why she does not do PDAs with Donald, by the way. This is why she doesn't smile inordinately. Because, you know, women from born in the Soviet Union, and she was, do not smile. It's not a thing when you're a Soviet. And she was raised a Soviet, okay? So, and she is the jack channel to the Soviets. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that, maybe those incoherent texts with bad English, is Trump really that bad at English? Would he even type stuff? Or is that the missus? They're a power couple. She is one of the most consequential first ladies of our time. She is the brain behind Trump. She's the person who settles fights between the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Treasury with the White House staff, which includes Steve Miller and the Heritage Foundation guy who's the OMB director. So yeah, she's the deciding vote in that troika, or she's the deciding vote between those two factions. You know, don't embarrass her husband. When you think Elon's gone, so yeah, she is the most consequential first lady, and she does it quietly. From the vice president to Putin, she does it quietly. You know, it's no accident that that they were all Putin aides or Putin allies who were in Team Crazy on the insurrection. Melania wasn't in the room, but I think she was probably the back channel. And the reason that Putin's people were the ones who were planning it, you know, they talk about Tulsi Gabbard. Shit, Tulsi Gabbard's, you know, an errand girl compared to Melania Trump. We'll probably get the Order of Lenin or whatever, you know, some kind of medal from Putin if Putin survives. He's not going to, of course, and neither is Donald. This whole thing's going to break him. This Epstein thing. And here's the other thing of consequence. Besides the fact that she's probably in broken English in the middle of the night texting on Trump's email, which of course, you know, if the first lady's doing it, you can no longer claim that tweets are official communication. The first lady does not get official communication. You know, that was, you know, amazing how the parallel between Woodrow Wilson and Donald Trump, how Wilson's second wife, as opposed to Trump's third wife, was in charge of covering for the disability of that president. So yeah, it's the history is just, you know, pregnant. 100 years different. It's the same story, and totally, except Wilson, you know, died or was disabled in his second term, and this one's going to die in his second term. He might not, but you know, he's healthier than you think. He's healthier than I am. He can walk better than I do. I mean, he falls less than I do. He exercises more than I do. And he's older than I am. I'm turning 63 in 2 weeks. Donald Trump is 79. I can't golf a full 9 or full 12, full 18. No way. I'm fatter than he is, and not as fit as he is. And I am younger than he is. And I'm, you know, if you guys support what I do with employee ownership, you know, I may succeed him one day, maybe immediately. Who knows? Although I think that the ladies of South Asian origin may be the ones who are will be fighting that one out. See how much time do I have left? Yes, Epstein files. When you see a picture of Ghislaine and Epstein with Donald, who else is in the shot? The First Lady, before she was First Lady, of course. Epstein introduced them. Hello? Yeah. Nobody talks about that. They just see that she's there, and you know, I have a feeling that there's people who want to talk about it, but you know, there are network interests who prevent this from coming out. I am not beholden to those interests. So yeah, as more and more of Epstein's stuff comes out, it's going to hit on Melania, and Trump is going to be pissed. That'll probably kill him. Melania is going to be pissed too. Oh my God. Because, I mean, if anybody's, Melania has probably known Epstein longer. Well, she's known Epstein longer than she's known her husband. And, you know, she may have known, she may, I don't know how far back they go. You know, who did Epstein meet first? Melania or Donald? You know? So, just saying. I'm sure probably Melania was, Donald was known first, but I don't know that. You know, I want to see the timeline. It's intensely private, and there's, you know, all of this is, yeah, it's just speculation, although there is some evidence. There's a photographic evidence. There's the fact that we know that Epstein introduced them, or Ghislaine did, one of the two, and that you know, Melania was in that Ghislaine world, so, and a model who's, you know, barely clothed. So I don't, you know, you tell me. Just saying, you know, we'll just saying, because, you know, is it in the files? I doubt it. There's no way they would put that in, you know, that relationship in the files, because that's a personal relationship, not a quid pro quo relationship. So, and nobody's going to ask her. You shouldn't ask her. It's private information. But you know, one wonders. You know, one wonders about how much she was involved with Putin earlier. You know, was she the back channel that Team Crazy used to plan the insurrection? Or was that Roger Stone, who also had Moscow ties? I mean, it's like this Moscow thing. You know, there was Team Crazy and Melania in the Putin section of and Levin Igor, who had dropped out of Team Crazy because they were under indictment. Yeah, there's, again, Melania doesn't have to testify in any action against Trump, and there should be action against Trump because, well, he knew too much about the plan of the insurrection, the real plan, not the hang Mike Pence plan, but the breach the doors and convince members of Congress to support undoing the election. He said it Trump said it, you know, at the ellipse, and he stopped it when he stopped the operation and sent everybody outside when the barrier was cinched up by SWAT, and Ashley Babbitt was killed, trying to, you know, in an act of attempted murder against members of Congress. Probably the Democrats were going to be murdered, and the others would be convinced. So, can't prove it. Although the people involved, you know, have had pardons. But you can never ask, nobody's going to rat out Melania, and Melania can't be forced to talk. Spousal privilege. So, yeah. Yes, the most consequential first lady of our times is Melania Trump. By far. By far. I mean, she wasn't just pillow conscious. She was in charge. So, especially of the second term. So, yeah. That's part 2 of today's festivities. We'll be posting these sometime today or in the evening. Have a great one. Go Terps.